If you live outside the US, this might sound impossible. What if we told you that in 2025, you could just grab your passport, book a flight, and land in New York or Los Angeles without ever applying for a visa? No embassy visits, no endless paperwork, no soul-crushing rejections. Just a few clicks. And boom, you are cleared to enter the United States. Sounds like a scam, right? Or a dream? But it's not. It's real. And it's happening for citizens of exactly 10 countries right now. They can decide when to travel, pack their stuff, buy a ticket, and enter the United States. While millions of travelers still wait in lines, chase appointments, and pray for approvals, a small list of lucky nations gets to skip the entire process. They just walk in. So who are they? How did they earn this privilege? And could your country be next? In this video, let's reveal the 10 countries that can enter the US without a visa in 2025 and the surprising rules that make it possible. Number 10. Japan. For Japanese citizens, the dream to travel to the United States, visa-free and quickly, has been a reality for decades. Since 1988, Japan has been part of the U.S. Visa Waiver Program, allowing its citizens to visit the U.S. for up to 90 days without a traditional visa, provided they register online via the electronic system for travel authorization. And this visa waiver has only strengthened in 2025. This system takes mere minutes and has a high approval rate. Japan's inclusion wasn't unexpected. It was earned through decades of diplomatic trust, high compliance with immigration protocols, and exceptional security cooperation. Japan shares real-time intelligence with U.S. agencies, maintains one of the lowest visa overstay rates globally, and has an advanced biometric system integrated with U.S. databases. In 2024, over 3.5 million Japanese travelers entered the U.S. under the VWP. From business leaders attending tech expos in Silicon Valley to families vacationing in Orlando. Despite this massive inflow, incidents are rare. Japanese citizens tend to meticulously follow entry rules, which reinforces trust on both sides. And yet this privilege often flies under the radar. There's no fanfare or political boasting. It's a silent, seamless understanding between two global powers. It stands as a quiet symbol of how mutual respect and precise governance can translate into real-world freedoms, like walking into the U.S. with nothing more than an e-passport and a barcode. Number 9. Germany. Germany's presence on the visa-free list dates back to 1989, making it one of the longest-standing members of the U.S. Visa Waiver Program. The German passport, ranked among the top 5 globally in travel access, grants its holders a smooth entry into the United States for tourism or business, provided they complete the ESTA application beforehand. For German travelers, this has meant 3 decades of nearly unrestricted transatlantic mobility. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite enjoying easy entry, many Germans still opt to apply for long-term visas. Why? Because the German-American relationship goes far beyond tourism. Students seek out U.S. universities. Professionals secure work placements. Entrepreneurs partner with American firms. The demand for extended stays reflects deeper bilateral ties expanding to economic, academic, and cultural areas. Germany's inclusion in the VWP is rooted in robust internal systems. The country maintains low visa overstay rates, shares detailed traveler data with U.S. authorities, and ranks among the most compliant when it comes to immigration protocols. In 2024, over 2 million Germans visited the United States, not just for vacations, but to build bridges across technology, science, and diplomacy. It's not just about skipping the visa line. It's about being a trusted global citizen. Germany's continued eligibility in the EVWP showcases a model of efficiency, partnership, and foresight. And as geopolitical pressures rise globally, Germany remains one of America's most reliable visa-exempt allies. Number 8. France. When most people think of France, they think of art, cuisine, and elegance. But behind the aesthetics is a deeply rooted diplomatic relationship with the United States, reflected in France's long-standing position within the U.S. visa waiver program. Since 1989, French citizens have had the ability to enter the U.S. for up to 90 days without a visa, using a quick and accessible ESTA application. In 2024 alone, over 1.8 million French travelers entered the U.S., many without ever stepping inside an embassy. Whether it's business travelers heading to tech hubs, students enrolling in Ivy League schools, or tourists enjoying American landmarks, the path has been paved with ease and trust. This isn't just bureaucratic convenience, it's proof of shared values and tight-knit alliances. The Franco-American relationship thrives on mutual defense treaties, joint counter-violence efforts, and expansive cultural exchanges. France maintains one of the highest compliance rates for VWP entry, and its biometric tracking systems align with American standards, minimizing risk and maximizing transparency. What's especially notable is that this relationship has weathered diplomatic storms. In an age where immigration is under a global microscope, France and the U.S. have managed to sustain and even deepen their travel ties. It speaks volumes about the strength of this alliance, where ease of movement is not just a perk, but a symbol of trust earned over decades. Number 7. Australia. For Australians, visiting the U.S. is almost as easy as hopping across the Tasman Sea. Since 1996, Australia has enjoyed full access to the U.S. under the Visa Waiver Program, allowing its citizens to enter for up to 90 days without a traditional visa. But this isn't just about a paperwork shortcut. It's about a long-standing alliance rooted in military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and near-identical security protocols. Australia is often called America's Pacific cousin, and for good reason. The relationship extends far beyond tourism. Joint defense operations, Five Eyes intelligence partnerships, and trade collaboration have formed the backbone of the U.S.-Australia Trust. That trust has translated into policy. Australia maintains one of the highest electronic system for travel authorization approval rates globally, and ranks near the top in compliance with U.S. immigration rules. Over 1 million Australians visited the United States in 2024, a mix of students, business leaders, digital nomads, and families. Their track record speaks volumes: extremely low overstay rates, near-perfect documentation, and high return consistency. Australia's inclusion is often taken for granted, but it's not static. It's earned through constant adherence to global standards. And while many Australians could simply enjoy a vacation in the U.S. without red tape, a growing number opt for long-term visas to study, work, or settle down, showing that access is just the beginning of a much deeper relationship. Number 6. South Korea. If there's one country that transformed its international standing in a single generation, it's South Korea. And its journey to joining the Visa Waiver Program in 2008 wasn't a handout. It was a blueprint for others. South Korea didn't just apply and wait. It overhauled its entire border control system, adopted state-of-the-art biometric screening, and signed data-sharing agreements that aligned tightly with U.S. Homeland Security protocols. Today, South Korea is one of the most trusted travel partners the United States has in Asia. In 2024 alone, over 2.2 million South Korean citizens visited the U.S., making it one of the top contributors to America's tourism, education, and business sectors. But this isn't casual travel. South Koreans are among the most academically and professionally integrated visitors. Students from Seoul dominate Ivy League classrooms. Korean engineers and software developers fuel startups across Silicon Valley. Families reunite and entrepreneurs ink deals. all without stepping into a U.S. embassy. What sets South Korea apart is its commitment to compliance. Its citizens consistently meet all ESTA guidelines, and the government actively monitors overstay and travel risk metrics to maintain eligibility. And in a time of rising global tension, South Korea remains one of the few countries whose security and technological protocols exceed even U.S. benchmarks. Its place in the VWP is more than a convenience. It's a geopolitical signal that South Korea is not just a partner in travel, it's a strategic ally. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on the latest news stories on geopolitics, economics, and current affairs impacting your lives. Number 5. Israel. Israel's entry into the visa waiver program in 2023 didn't just make headlines, it marked a historic diplomatic milestone. After years of tight U.S. immigration controls in the Middle East, Israel became one of the very few nations in the region trusted enough to earn visa-free access to the United States. This wasn't a decision made lightly. Behind the scenes, Israel spent years building the infrastructure necessary to qualify: reciprocal travel privileges for Americans, robust intelligence coordination, advanced biometric systems, and extensive compliance protocols. Every checkpoint was scrutinized, every agreement debated, until finally, the U.S. gave the green light. And the impact was immediate. In 2024, over 800,000 Israeli citizens entered the U.S. without a visa, visiting family, attending business conferences, launching tech collaborations, and pursuing medical care or higher education. For a country of less than 10 million people, that's a staggering figure. But Israel's VWP inclusion is about more than numbers. It reflects a deep strategic alliance, one built on decades of military coordination, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic resilience. The U.S. doesn't just trust Israel to send tourists. It trusts Israel to maintain a travel system so secure it mirrors America's own internal standards. This access comes with responsibility. Israeli citizens undergo the same ESTA checks as others, and the country remains under continual review to retain its place on the list. But so far, it's held up exceptionally well. Number 4. Singapore. Don't be fooled by the small size of this city-state. Singapore punches far above its weight on the global stage, and its visa-free access to the U.S. is no exception. Since 1999, Singaporean citizens have enjoyed full participation in the U.S. visa waiver program, allowing them to enter the country for up to 90 days without a traditional visa. But this wasn't a courtesy. It was a recognition of excellence in governance, security, and global cooperation. Singapore's passport consistently ranks among the top 3 most powerful in the world, and for good reason. Its citizens are held to strict internal compliance standards, and the government maintains one of the most advanced and efficient travel vetting systems anywhere. From biometric passports to real-time traveler tracking, Singapore's infrastructure rivals that of the most advanced Western nations, and in many ways surpasses it. In 2024 alone, over 750,000 Singaporean travelers entered the U.S., contributing to tourism, education, business, and innovation. And remarkably, Singapore maintains a compliance rate with U.S. immigration rules that is nearly perfect. Overstay rates are negligible, fraud is almost non-existent, and traveler screening is so refined, it has become a model for other countries aspiring to VWP status. But this privilege comes with constant diligence. Singapore understands that staying in the VWP requires ongoing proof of integrity, from data sharing agreements with U.S. agencies to consistent updates on travel security protocols. And unlike some countries that treat visa-free travel as routine, Singapore treats it as a privilege to be protected. Number 3. United Kingdom. When it comes to international alliances, few are as historic and deep-rooted as the one between the United States and the United Kingdom. From joint military operations to intelligence sharing through the Five Eyes Alliance, the US-UK partnership defines modern diplomacy. So it's no surprise that British citizens are among the most privileged global travelers when it comes to entering the US visa-free. But make no mistake, this access isn't handed out universally to all British nationals. Only those holding full British citizenship with the unrestricted right of abode in the UK qualify for the VWP. Citizens of British overseas territories or other special statuses do not automatically enjoy the same benefits. This reflects the US policy of evaluating eligibility not just on political alliances, but on citizenship categories, documentation integrity, and travel history. Despite these filters, the numbers are staggering. In 2024 alone, over 4.8 million travelers from the UK visited the United States, one of the highest figures for any country worldwide. These travelers weren't just tourists. They were students, investors, cultural ambassadors, and tech professionals, many of whom cross the Atlantic multiple times per year. What makes the US-UK travel corridor so robust is the interconnected infrastructure behind it. Immigration databases are synchronized, background vetting systems are mutually recognized, and law enforcement agencies on both sides exchange traveler data under tight legal frameworks. This level of operational trust has kept the visa-free access between both countries not just functional, but almost seamless. Number 2. Qatar. When Qatar was officially welcomed into the U.S. visa waiver program in 2023, the announcement sent geopolitical shockwaves. A Gulf monarchy joining an exclusive Western travel club wasn't just unexpected. It was unprecedented. And yet, for those watching closely, this historic move had been years in the making. For decades, Qatari citizens required traditional visas, often waiting weeks for approvals just to visit the United States. But behind the scenes, Qatar had quietly been reinventing its travel systems. From modernizing Hamad International Airport, now ranked among the best in the world, to rolling out advanced biometric screening and tracking systems, Qatar left nothing to chance. They partnered with U.S. intelligence on reciprocal data sharing and improved passport security features to match U.S. standards. This wasn't just about tourism. It was a national-level campaign to prove trustworthiness, and it worked. In 2024 alone, over 200,000 Qatari travelers entered the U.S. under the new visa-free framework. Business leaders attending tech expos in Silicon Valley, Qatari students enrolling in American universities, and entire families touring Washington, D.C. all entered without setting foot in a U.S. consulate. But this isn't a one-off achievement. It's a strategic shift in the way the U.S. views its partners in the Middle East. With Qatar's immigration compliance rates hitting international benchmarks and its reciprocal agreements firmly in place, the country now stands as the first Gulf nation ever to achieve this level of access. Number 1. Romania. If there's one entry on this list that rewrote the rules of who gets to travel visa-free to the U.S., it's Romania. Long viewed as the outsider in Europe's push for mobility equality, Romania spent decades on the visa waiver program's maybe list. High visa refusal rates, inconsistent border security, and outdated documentation systems held it back. But that changed dramatically. In a stunning diplomatic and technological overhaul, Romania dropped its visa refusal rate below the VWP's mandatory 3% threshold by 2022. The country invested heavily in biometric passports, rolled out digitized traveler verification systems, and brought its border control infrastructure up to par with Schengen standards, even though it's not yet a Schengen member. The U.S. noticed. In 2023, Romania became the first Eastern European nation in over a decade to join the visa waiver program. And the effects were immediate. By 2024, more than 350,000 Romanians had entered the U.S., many experiencing frictionless transatlantic travel for the first time in their lives. Business owners seeking partners in Miami. Young adults finally attending American universities. Families reuniting after years of being separated by red tape. But this wasn't just about convenience. For Romanians, it was a moment of global arrival, a recognition that their country had earned the trust of one of the most scrutinizing immigration systems in the world. More importantly, this milestone is having a domino effect in the region. Neighboring Eastern European countries like Bulgaria and Croatia are now reviewing their own systems to follow Romania's lead. And within Romania, businesses are already seeing boosts in U.S. partnerships. Students have greater access to American programs, and tourism agencies are ramping up two-way travel initiatives. Romania's leap from denied visas to visa-free travel isn't just a policy change. It's a transformation story. It's a reminder that mobility is power, and when earned, it can redefine a nation's place on the global stage. Is your country on the U.S. visa waiver list? If not, do you feel your country deserves to have a visa waiver because its citizens contribute so much to the United States? In the comment section below, share your thoughts on whether you would like to visit and explore the United States if your country gets a visa waiver. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring the latest news stories on geopolitics, economics, changing world order, and current affairs. Things you need to stay informed. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.